A high cost of living can have a variety of effects on a country's quality of life. A high cost of living can make it difficult for those on the lower end of the economic scale, such as low-wage workers or retirees on fixed incomes, to keep up with the cost of necessities like housing, groceries, clothing, and transportation. Individuals in the middle and upper income brackets who are fortunate enough to be able to cover their basic needs without stress will have less money left over for savings, vacations, their children's education, and retirement. A high cost of living might make a country less appealing to tourists and expats, since they get less value for their money here than they would elsewhere. Today, we will discuss the top 10 most expensive countries in the world. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos in the future. Number 10. Switzerland. The most costly country in the world to live in is Switzerland. Switzerland is the 95th most populated country in the world, and the 135th largest in terms of total landmass, with more than 8.6 million people living across 41,285 square kilometers. Switzerland's capital, Bern, and the country's largest city, Zurich, are both lovely places to reside. Bern has a population of around 133,000 people, and a month's accommodation in Bern for one person will cost around $1,366 or $86 per night in an Airbnb. A lunch out will set you back around $15 to $20, with an additional drink costing around $6 and a cup of coffee costing around $5. Number 9. Norway. Norway, our next European country, is a regular on any list of the world's most costly countries. Oslo, Norway's capital city, boasts some of the world's most costly rents. A monthly rent for a one-bedroom studio apartment in the capital city is expected to be roughly $193. The rest of the country isn't much cheaper, as it comes in at 101.43 on the cost of living index, which is higher than New York City. Food and recreation are also significant expenses in Norway, with daily grocery prices among the highest in the world. Number 8. Singapore. Singapore is one of the world's most expensive city-states, known for its high-tech innovation and commitment to a cleaner and greener city. Singapore is an island city-state in Southeast Asia, with one of the world's smallest populations, just over 6 million people. The local cost of living index is 81.1, with a rent index of 63.27, which is above average. A private apartment in a popular neighborhood like the East Coast, River Valley, or Chinatown can cost anything between $600 and $1,300 per month. Number 7. Japan. Japan is a Southeast Asian archipelago island nation made up of 852 islands with a population of 126.8 million people. The four main islands, which account for around 97% of Japan's population, are home to the majority of the country's 582 residents. Many large cities in Japan, such as Osaka, Nagoya, and Sapporo, have populations of more than 2 million people. Tokyo, on the other hand, is Japan's capital and largest metropolis, with a population of almost 37 million people. Renting a one-bedroom studio apartment in Tokyo will set you back around $1,370 per month, or $111 each night on Airbnb. The cost of eating out varies, but on average, a standard meal should cost around $15 and a beverage should cost around $6 for one person. Number 6. The Bahamas. The Bahamas is the world's second most expensive country to live in. The Bahamas, which are made up of over 700 islands, have a population of 482 million people living on its 13,943 square kilometers landmass. Nassau, the Bahamas' main city, has a population of 255,000 people. If you want to visit the Bahamas, plan on spending about $950 per month on a one-bedroom studio apartment in the metropolis, or $149 per night on an Airbnb. When you go out for a dinner and some beverages, you'll need at least $50 to $100 with you, as a typical meal costs approximately $15 to $20, and a beer costs around $2.50. Coffee is a touch pricey, costing roughly $5 per cup. Number 5. Luxembourg. Luxembourg, one of the smallest countries on our list, is also one of the world's smallest sovereign nations, so you won't have much wiggle space when it comes to your monthly spending. Luxembourg is a landlocked country in Western Europe with a population of approximately 319 inhabitants. It has a modest population compared to the other countries on the list, but it has about 207 people per square kilometer, making it the world's 67th most densely inhabited country. You may expect to pay roughly $1.322 per month for a one-bedroom studio apartment in Luxembourg City, or $80 per night in an Airbnb. When it comes to indulgences like beer and coffee, Luxembourg appears to be slightly more expensive than the Bahamas, with one beer costing roughly $9 and a cup of coffee costing around $6. A normal supper for one person will cost between $17 and $25, depending on what you order. Number 4. Denmark. Denmark, the most southern Nordic country in Northern Europe, is the world's fourth most expensive country to live in. Denmark has a population of 5.7 million people and is bordered by Germany, Sweden, and Norway. Copenhagen, the capital of the Scandinavian countries, with a population of 1.2 million people and a metropolitan population of 1.99 million. Copenhagen is known as one of the nicest cities on the planet, but it is also a very costly city to live in. A one-bedroom studio apartment will set you back $1.917 per month, or $96 per night on Airbnb. Dining out will set you back about $18 per person, and beers and coffee would set you back about $5.50 to $6.50. Number 3. Bermuda. Bermuda is the most expensive place to live in the world, costing nearly $5,000 per month for housing and living expenses. Bermuda, like the Cayman Islands, is a British overseas colony in the North Atlantic. Bermuda's population is estimated to be around 65,000 people living on a landmass of 20.5 square miles. Bermuda's capital, Hamilton, is also the island's only incorporated city, with a population of slightly over 1,000 people. When it comes to finding a place to stay in the city, you'll need some serious cash, since a one-bedroom studio apartment will set you back roughly $2.675 per month, or $212 each night on Airbnb. If you're a drinker, be prepared to part with some cash. A glass of beer will set you back at least $10, and supper will set you back between $20 and $30 per person. Bermuda is the world's most expensive country to live in. Number 2. Monaco. The Principality of Monaco is regarded as one of Europe's most costly places to live. Real estate, on the other hand, is the primary source of expenses. Prices are comparable to those in France and the Côte d'Azur for most things. Food in supermarkets is inexpensive due to a lack of sufficient taxation. In terms of clothing, Monaco has stores for all of the major brands. In addition to the mass market, Zara and H&M, for example, are well liked by both locals and visitors. It is not considered impolite to combine styles. In terms of service costs, they are above average. Everything is pricey, including the internet, communications, utilities, and other services. For example, Monaco Telecom is a monopolist in the communication and internet markets, and the average monthly charge for communication and in turn for the telephone will cost €120. With an annual income of 500 or more thousand euros, living in the Principality of Monaco will be comfortable in terms of a comfortable life and overall sense of self-sufficiency. Number 1. Iceland. In recent years, this Nordic island nation has become a favorite destination for young travel bloggers and environment lovers. The cost of living in Iceland is relatively expensive. However, this isn't due to housing. In comparison to New York, you may rent a property for less than half the price. It's the food that's expensive. You'll have to spend a lot of money on groceries. Because of its isolation from the rest of Europe and lack of fertile land, Iceland is compelled to import much of its food, driving increasing prices. Importing foreign items is also subject to stringent laws in the country, which adds to the price. That's a wrap for top 10 most expensive countries in the world. What do you think about our list? Which country is more expensive? Please let us know what you think in the comments area below. Make sure to click the like button. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for future videos.